I mean they're a great organization, great team. Got really good players, and so it's never easy. I'll tell you that it's not. I think we've had some success going against them, but it's always been a dogfight. It's never just been given to us or anything. So, and we know that. We feel like that's the case with our whole division, especially this year. So, great team, and there's never a moment where we walk into this game going, it's going to be given to us or anything. Like we know the history of the 49ers and the Seahawks, and you have to have the right mindset going into this game, or else you can get exposed. So, yeah.
Brock, you're 4-0 this year when you don't fumble the ball or throw an interception. I think you're 16-0 since you've been here in those situations. When you hear those numbers, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
I mean, it makes sense. If you win the turnover battle, I forgot what the stat is, but it's it's almost an automatic win. And so for me, that's my job, and I take pride in that. In those games where you don't turn the ball over or anything like that, and you're protecting the team, you're protecting the offense, and your defense can then go out and create turnovers, and you can feed off each other. So that's a huge part of the game, and so it makes sense, and that's probably the case with a lot of teams around the league. The quarterbacks that play smart and do their job and put up points without turning the ball over, you're gonna have a really, really high chance of winning. So that's the goal every week.
The new regime they brought in, you've played them one time, then you played the other regime before. Was it like preparing for an entirely new defense, or was there some carryover?
The scheme was different for sure, but going against the players and stuff, we sort of knew how some guys were. But in the NFL, man, the scheme is a really big deal with how they play certain coverages, leverages, how their run defenses and how they're filling in gaps. All that stuff is slightly different. So that was a new challenge for us in studying them and trying to scheme up them compared to the years past. But going back and watching some stuff in Baltimore and stuff, sort of just trying to put it all together, and then obviously all the games that they've played this year so far, some good tape on them and everything. So, but it was a challenge, especially going on a Thursday night game. But this time around, hopefully we can just build off of the game plan from last time and have a feel for them. But it's our second time going against them in this scheme, so it's still a challenge for us as always.
Mark, obviously the red zone production hasn't been where you wanted, but George has kind of been a constant for you this year, and even when you took over, he scored a lot more touchdowns than he did previously. How were you guys able to kind of develop that connection that you have, and where is your trust level in terms of George specifically down that?
Yeah, I think when you go down there, man, just the tight end, his frame and everything, and how explosive he is, his hands. He's a really good matchup against guys down there, especially when it's tighter and in the red zone. You don't have a lot of room for error or anything, and so when you have a guy that is a good mismatch as a quarterback, it makes you comfortable and knowing that, all right, I have an outlet with Kittle, and so it's been really just going through my progressions and trusting in Kyle and trying to get George in the right matchups and getting him the ball and giving him an opportunity. He's come down with some crazy catches, and so for me it's almost like I have my tight end as my check down there, knowing that George is going to find a way and give me a chance, and so that's obviously really nice, and hopefully we can continue our connection and growth together.
You mentioned the crazy catches. You see toe taps, things like a lot of receivers. You don't necessarily see tight ends doing that. How unusual is it to have somebody who is making plays like that in those situations?
Yeah, for a tight end, for how big he is and the run blocking and all the stuff you have to do as a gritty tight end, to then go and toe tap, on the sidelines and jump up and make acrobatic catches and stuff, that's unheard of, dude. And he does that on a weekly basis, it seems like. And so George is a future Hall of Famer, man. And so I'm very thankful to be playing with him. And like I said, I hope I can continue to feed him and continue to grow together.
Well, George seems very I was going to say silly. Sometimes he is silly, right? But obviously there has to be a serious side. What have you learned from him, whether it's just the business of the NFL or just the wisdom he's been able to impart to you?
Yeah, he's done a lot, sort of just taking me under his wing, be like a older brother, and just sort of give me the layout of everything of what this business is and what it looks like, and obviously how to treat people, what to do, what not to do, off the field stuff, and how to handle just the spotlight and everything, and what he does that helps him, you know, center back in to what matters most with his family, friends, and football. Like, he's given me some really good advice and continues to. It wasn't just a one-time thing when I was a rookie. Like, he continues to do that, and I'm very appreciative of that. And you know, obviously he's got the fun, you know, charismatic, you know, personality, which we all love, but he also knows what it takes to be great at this level, and he does what's best for, obviously, the team and himself and his family. And so I respect, you know, how he goes about what he does. You know, obviously the treatment on his body, studying, performing, all of it, man, you see it. And so I'm extremely blessed to, you know, be a teammate of his and for him to, you know, teach me the ropes.
Having Christian back at practice now for a second week, do you see a difference in what it does for everybody else? Does it elevate everybody else? What does that bring just to every practice day?
Yeah, I mean, he goes hard, you know, every rep, does everything right. You know, he doesn't mess up or anything. And so when we see, you know, the standard that he's playing at, for all of us, we're like, all right, man, like, you know, Christian's back, and we just got to do our job really well. And when we get him the ball, let's, you know, make sure the blocking's right. For me, it's how can I give him a accurate ball in transition so that he can get the most yak as possible. So it's like all those little things that you sort of start to see everybody elevate their game with. And so it's crazy what you know, when a person comes back like his caliber, what it does to our team, man, and everybody elevating their game. So obviously extremely happy to have him back for everything that he does for us, but more than anything, we just got so much respect for, you know, how he goes about his business and being such a great teammate that he is.
Brock, when you and your wives and George went on a vacation during the bye week, was there any football? Did you guys throw patterns or talk ball, or did you kind of agree ahead of time, we're not doing that?
We both brought a football, like without telling each other. He was like, hey, I brought a football, and I was like, so did I. And so just in case, but we flew in together, we golfed together one day, but outside of that, we were, you know, just away, just with our wives on our own, and just getting away from football. But you know, we obviously just brought football to hold and touch and not forget what it feels like. But that was about it. We didn't throw or anything, so we got away.
Going back to your chemistry with Christian McCaffrey, the throw to the right sideline that you kind of arced over, he said that it was, you know, it was halfway there before when he looked back to catch it. Is it just your trust in him that you've already had built up from the past, that you knew he was going to be there? Is that part of what?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, we ran that route, you know, so many times from camp to games in the past. And obviously, like, it just goes to, you know, a testament to, you know, his detail. Like, I know where he's going to be because every time he runs it at practice on air against a defender, like, he gives me an indicator, or like there's like subtle movements because he does it constantly. And so for me in that moment, it was just all about trust because I knew where he was supposed to be and how he runs the route. And you know, that's the kind of guy he is. So he you know, has set those kinds of plays up for me, so that if it is off schedule or anything, I know where he's supposed to be. And so that's just the chemistry and trust that we've built, and you know, hopefully we can continue to have that going forward.
Did you practice that last week? Because he obviously hasn't practiced much in the last couple of months.
Yeah, we ran it last week in practice, but going back to, you know, watching last year and then the reps that he did have at camp early on, like those were all reps that we've gotten together. So once he came back, we're like, all right, this plays back up, and we're like, all right, sweet. So.
Right. Ricky, Chris always talked a little bit about his faith and like how certain things have happened to him since the shooting or with the shooting that like he just doesn't think are coincidences. I don't know, has he talked to you about that at all, or if not, like, do you like kind of feel the same way when you look at his story?
Yeah. 100%. He's talked about it to me, and I totally agree with him, man. And obviously, I'm a believer in God, and you know, to see him go through that, and then to get back, and just the story that he has, like, I'm not, like, there's no way that's just a coincidence. Like, that's just my firm belief, and I know he's told me that. He's told all the guys that, and to see him back playing and his story, man, it's something bigger than football. It's bigger than, you know, what we're doing here right now. It's way bigger than that. We're still sort of trying to figure it out, and we'll see what happens with it all. But yeah, if you ask us, it's God. So.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks,
Brian.
guys.